If you're looking for one of the greatest battle station or desk overhaul videos, you have absolutely come to the right place. By the end of this video, everything that you see on this desk and more will be ergonomically integrated into a standing desk, specifically designed for optimal gaming and productivity. And I'm going to go over what these components are in a bit. Then I'm going to show you the best solution for RGB battle stations or desk setups. And by the end of this video, I promise you that you're either going to learn something new or get some major inspiration for your own setups and battle stations. Let's get into this. Okay, so before we go over some of the exciting and sometimes bizarre things on this table, let me talk to you about some of the issues that we're trying to fix. Okay, so this is my computer, this is my desk, this is everything. This is where I game, edit, work, play, and it needs a pretty major upgrade. But on the surface, it does look pretty great. I mean, we have an electric standing desk. We are upgrading to a bigger one. We also have a big, nice ultra-wide monitor arm. It looks pretty good, but there are some pretty major usability issues, which you probably have too. Stuff like when I want to connect a USB device, of course, I'm working with a lot of video, so SD cards. I don't have any front I/O, and even if I did have front I/O, I don't like using it because it looks horrendous when you have stuff sticking out the front of your computer like a wart. So I have to go all the way around to the back of my computer to plug this in every single time that I want to transfer media to my computer. Goodbye. And that's a terrible experience. So we're fixing that, something that you guys probably have issues with too. Another one is webcam. I do have a webcam, I don't have it installed at the moment. I need to get that back installed, but I don't want it connected to my computer 24/7 because there's security issues around that. You want to be able to turn your webcam on through hardware as and when you need it to then turn it off when you're done with it. Another issue that I want to fix is Wi-Fi adapters, wireless receivers for like headsets, wireless mice. This whole cable management mess as well. Tidy all of it up, mount it properly, and make sure it's nice and clean so that when you look at your desk and your setup, everything is the way that it should be and nothing is, well, a loose pile of cables. So we're going to address all that today, come up with the best solution that we can for that, as well as upgrade the RGB solution for this entire setup to make it as good as we can possibly make it. So let's go over some of the things that I've bought, why we're going to need them, and how we're going to make this work. And that brings us on to what we have on this table. So let's start biggest to smallest and see how it goes. We have a 27-inch monitor from Philips. This is roughly about the same height as my ultra-wide, so it should look really clean as a dual monitor setup. We also have an audiophile approved $100 speaker system for your PC. These are meant to sound super crisp and clean. I've been running with a $20 set of speakers, which have actually been fantastic for $20, but they're a $20 set of speakers. You can imagine that these will be a big upgrade. We have a Wi-Fi antenna, we have our webcam, we have a Corsair Lighting Node Pro. This isn't for the inside of our computer. I'll show you how we're going to get that set up in a bit, but that's going to be crucial to our RGB lighting and one of the reasons why it's going to be phenomenal. We have a DVD drive. Yes, I know, a DVD drive. I use it on occasion, very rarely, but I still use it. We have a fingerprint reader for logging in for Windows Hello. We have card readers. We have a 100-watt Orki power delivery wall charger. This is basically going to be the last wall charger that you'll ever need. It will charge laptops, your Switch, your phone, everything. 100 watts of power. We have a metric ton of USB cables to connect everything together, an inline USB power switch, a headphone hanger, my headphones itself, a mouse upgrade from Mionix, some of the best RGB strips that I've ever tested, this weird rubber thingy, and some cable management stuff. But there is one last thing. A new standing desk, and probably the most important thing, these tape strips. I'm gonna build this desk, and then I'll show you why these are so important. Okay, so that is the desk basically built. We need to do two things to it, one small, one big. The first thing is stem casters. These stand-up desks are actually quite heavy, and being able to move them about sometimes to get behind them, do things that you need to do, is very, very useful. These stem casters are just a little bit too long, so I need to cut it after the 7th thread. It's about midway up, so we're going to do that in a bit. But also, the underside of the desk is far more important for everything that we have to mount to it, everything that I showed you over there. So, stem casters first, let's do it. Okay, so let me show you guys where we're at the moment. First things first, the IKEA Signum right there. we have installed that right at the back of the desk. And bear in mind that this is going to be the right-hand side. As you imagine that the whole desk will be flipped this way. So that's the right, that's the left. So the idea is that everything that we're going to use is going to be permanently, oh hello, got a bit of Sharpie on my finger. Everything that we're going to use is going to be permanently mounted to the underside of the desk. Even this surge protector right here. We have that mounted and that is definitely not going to move. And that brings us back to this tape. This stuff is absolutely fantastic. You can mount anything to anything really, especially stuff like this composite board and electronics like that. So another thing that we've mounted is our USB hub right here with SD card reader. We've got another one back here for other devices that won't mind sharing USB 3. Over here, these have yet to be mounted, but these are SSD holders for the Samsung T5, I believe. Over there is our headphone holder, yet to be mounted. And our DVD drive, which has been mounted. See, that is just firmly stuck on. But that's kind of the basis of it. Mount everything to the underside of the desk using this fantastic tape and keep it out of sight, out of mind. So let's continue on with this before we get to the RGB stage, because that's going to be quite interesting. Let's do this. And that is everything pretty much mounted. Okay, so let's start from here. Power to the UPS as well as data to the UPS. So if we get a power outage, the UPS can communicate to the computer, which then leads us onto this thing. This is a massive USB hub from TP-Link. This is pretty much only doing USB 2.0 devices, and it's a USB 3.0 hub. So we're not gonna really saturate that at all. In fact, the only USB 3 device I think that's on it is the DVD drive right over there. But nobody cares about the DVD drive. We don't need full USB 3 performance. Other things can be on the hub too. Which then leads us down here past the headphone hanger onto this thing. This is so that I can record onto SSD and then slot it straight in. Computer will read it. This is on its own dedicated line up here, USB 3. Oh, and you remember that weird rubber thingy that I was telling you about earlier? That's what that is. So you can basically just pop a cable there, hide it away, strap it back like that. So hopefully these will be basically invisible up until I need to use them. And then I go like that on the other side of the desk, use them, pop them away. And this USB hub here. I love them being underneath the table like this. This is quick access for USB drives, SD cards. This is also on its own connection to the computer. Here we have the controls for the standing desk. Here we have an on-off switch for the webcam, which needs to be wired up, but that's also going into this hub. Here we have the antenna for Wi-Fi. Of course, the super duper USB charger. I can charge laptops or whatever off this. My wife has just got an M1 MacBook Air, so might have to do some content on that soon. And then over here we have the power and the control module for the standing desk. And then that brings us over here to the DVD drive and the fingerprint reader. So let's flip this over and go through a couple use cases where this is now the perfect desk. Before we move on to the RGB section, let's do this. Okay, so let me talk to you about what makes this such a great experience from a usability perspective. So I come to my computer, it's locked. All that I need to do is just reach under the desk. Step number one, unlocking the computer, really super simple because our card reader underneath here is in a nice angled position as well. I decided to put it onto the USB hub that actually faces at an angle to make it a lot more accessible for you. Scenario number two, one of the rare instances that I need to read a DVD. All that I need to do is just press that and DVD tray comes out, pop in the DVD, there we go, good to go. Really super simple. All of this is meant to be incredibly simple. I'm recording on Blackmagic cameras nowadays, so I actually use the Samsung T5 because Magic Rig and Small Rig, they actually have mounts for these, which makes it really nice and convenient to slot them in, slot them out. But when it comes to transferring the media from the SSD to my computer, again, I wanted it super simple. All that I need to do now is just reach over here, slot that in, There we go. Now reads that. It's just incredibly simple. And then out it comes, off to the camera. And then for other media, if somebody's giving you an SD card or you need to plug in a USB device, you don't want to go around the back of your computer, all that you need to do is just plug it in down here, and then you're good to go. Same for USB devices. This is meant to be quick access, transfer a couple files off a USB drive. But one of my favorite ones is if we go onto camera, we have the camera here and my very messy studio setup. But what if I want to turn the camera off? Well, that's really easy. There we go. That switch underneath there that's controlling the webcam. So if I'm on a Zoom call or if I want to do a video chat with somebody, all I need to do is just turn the camera on. And then when I'm done, turn the camera off. Love that, absolutely love that. And the best thing about this whole setup is you're not going to be able to see any mess until you get right underneath the desk, which is kind of perfect because it should just look super clean 24/7. There we go. I mean, what do you see? Yeah, a cable management tray, headset hanging off the end. Everything is perfectly integrated into this desk. The only thing that I would change is potentially, I would have loved to have the edifier speakers actually orientated vertically. They're a bit taller than I thought they would be, but I've bought some rubber mounts to go underneath them so that the vibrations actually don't transfer into the desk and the audio quality is very good from them. So the next thing that we're going to do is upgrade the RGB completely. It's going to be backlit for the desk and then behind the monitors as well. But it's also going to be IQ controlled, but it's going to be controlled an odd way, but it makes it very cost effective to use IQ for everything. Let me show you because it's going to be cool. These RGB strips. Okay, so they come with a JST SM 3-pin adapter. And what that looks like is like that. Hopefully you guys can see it. So it's the one that locks in right there. So the benefit to these strips is that they're self-adhesive on the back and they do have the waterproof layer for diffusing the light. So let me plug in the lights and show you how we're going to connect this through IQ. Because Corsair do have the LS something or other, like LS200, maybe that's the headphone hanger. They have a lighting kit that is intentionally meant to go behind your monitors, but offers limited flexibility if you need like a specific length or a specific amount of LEDs in a single run and need to make 90s, etc. So this way is going to be cheaper and it's also going to be more customizable to your own setups. So how this is going to work is with the Lighting Node Pro. And the Lighting Node Pro, you can pick these up for like $20-something on eBay refurbished. I've gotten a couple of these through there. Fantastic, incredible price for that. And we are going to power it through this, which is USB to SATA power. We're also going to be using some IQ adapters, and some of you would have been here for long enough to remember that video, but I'll have that linked right up there if you haven't seen it already. But we can use these adapters to convert 3-pin locking DuPont connector to a 3-pin 50/50 or a 3-pin JST SM, which is what this strip uses. There we go, and voila. So we just need to configure the Lighting Node Pro. So that's kind of the basis of it. And it means that we can custom run these wherever we need to. So what say we plug it in and have an ultimate RGB setup? Let's do it. So this is the solution, along with the beautiful lighting effect from IQ. And with IQ, of course, we can customize it to our heart's content. Let's say visor, for example, to show you guys an interesting effect. So in terms of IQ setup, what we have is 2 channels on the Lighting Node Pro, and I've set them both up as external RGB light strips, 6 250mm strips. But as we have 2 lighting channels on the Lighting Node Pro, we have 1 channel going along the top of both monitors as well as going along the back of the desk. And I think it produces a really cool effect, something like the color warp which we have set up on both of them. We have this one going right and this one going left. So it looks like it's doing the same pattern in a clockwise motion, which I really, really like. Another thing that I did do is I actually resoldered the ends of the RGB strip so that the connectors face inwards. One thing that I've realized in my many times of doing similar projects to this, having that little connector sticking out the side of your monitors or your desk looks terrible. So if you resolder it so that the head is going inwards, It solves that problem immensely. And also secured the LEDs on the back of the monitors with the self-locking straps that I use on the underside of the desk. Those things are phenomenal. I'm extremely happy with this solution and the new Mavics chair that I have at the moment. This is the M7, and we're gonna wait for the M9 to arrive before we do a full review, but they look like very promising chairs. They are very expensive though. So make sure that you don't miss the full review where we find out if they're worth it. Otherwise, check out the video description for everything that I used in this video, which is going to be a lot of stuff. So I will categorize everything in the video description, so it'll make it a lot easier for you to find what you're trying to achieve. But otherwise, get subscribed with notifications to make sure that you don't miss upcoming TechLens content. Otherwise, guys, like is always appreciated. I'll see you in the next one.